Yeah, we got stuff coming through to Restream. Let's see what happens. Oh, YouTube, Twitch. I'll just check the audio.
Is it going through to Twitch?
Yep.
Because I thought all the stream keys and that got
Oh,
reset recently. Oh, did you? Good man.
Yep, all sorted.
How did you have to do that on Restream? Did you have to delete
say
the
I
event and then
sorted No, I say sorted it. All I had to basically do was like just refresh the page and it sorted itself out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It said just load the encoder page, did that. Oh, it's fixed.
Because I use a different site for restreaming, and I had to literally delete both of my stream inputs, and I was like, why there isn't just a refresh stream key button or resync button? Whatever.
No, it's done it. It's done its magic, and I am staring at both streams on my other monitor as we speak.
Beautiful.
It is indeed beautiful. How what? Good evening, everybody on the Suffolk Ram.
Do you want to try that again?
Yes. Good evening, everybody on the Suffolk Ram.
Skazz.
Welcome to episode 176 of the Van Nerd podcast.
Which I will completely forget by the time we get to the next thing that we talk about. How have we been going this long?
Oh, I don't know. We're doing very well. And do you want to know something scary, Skazz? Let me just do this quick count. 1, 2...
Don't you dare.
3, 4... There are 5 podcasts till Christmas.
Well, that's it. Christmas is banned. That's it. It's gone. It's over. It's finished. Never again. My Christmas present to the world is no more Christmas. It's
what
done.
about the hampers?
I like hampers. People can still have Christmas hampers. They can have end of year hampers.
End of year hampers.
It's like a what's it called? Where you collect all the vegetables. What's that called?
A
Harvest festival. A harvest festival.
Harvest festival?
We'll have a harvest festival. I don't like vegetables though.
You missed that. Was last week.
I came home with chilies tonight. You're well chuffed.
Oh well, yeah, but chilies are different.
I went to Norwich Cathedral for the Harvest Festival last week.
Did you?
I did.
Why?
Someone I knew very well was speaking there.
Was it good?
Yeah, he did all right.
Good.
Yeah.
Was it
that
you?
good. No. Oh, mate, what would I have to do to be able to speak at Norwich Cathedral? They wouldn't want me up there.
Yeah, of course they would. Look at you,
I'd
classy
catch
chap.
fire.
Maybe.
Never going to happen.
Oh.
Unless somehow, through some bizarre sort of 90s sitcom series of events, I end up being like the next Archbishop of Canterbury.
That would be fantastic. I will actually take my duties more serious if that were the case.
I'll just be the film. There'll just be me sat there, and I'll be sat there on with the sort of like the funny hat on, the big stick, and it just like slow into a voiceover, and it'll just say, "I bet you're wondering how I got here." Well,
and then it just like fades and rewinds.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I was like, "Wait, this is a bit quick." Yeah, well, it was a spur of the moment decision.
Yeah. 2 weeks previously,
they couldn't find anyone better. I was here.
This is me, a shot of me on my PC surrounded by cans of Magners with Unreal Engine set open.
Oh, you know what? I reckon I could do a better job on Twitter, says the Suffolk Ram.
That's a film to be made. Anyway, so Skazz, what have you been up to?
Oh, God, mate. Well, would you believe I've been playing Ys? I mean, I've never done that before, right?
No, I mean, to be honest, it surprises me that you play Ys. I mean, I know how much you, despise the series and avoid it completely.
Especially, JRPGs, I never play them. What is the point?
You hate JRPGs.
Games with controls. We have to press buttons to control characters. Yeah. That's dumb. Why would you do that when you could play Pong? Is the paddle technically a character?
Yes.
Oh, well, then I can't play that.
I'm sure. I think both the paddles have both big, in-depth backstories.
Oh, mate, what about the ball?
The ball. See, basically, the paddles represent a love triangle going on. So, paddles are two blokes who are fighting for the affections of a woman, and the ball is the woman. and the bouncy band fall represents how she changed, how they basically fight the affections over each other, and eventually one will kill the other to succeed.
Fantastic. I never knew it was that in depth.
Pong, the movie.
Mate, that's going to happen. Didn't they already make a Pong movie? Probably.
I am going to Google now and see if there's Pong movie. Let's see. Well, there is a movie called Pong from 1986, but I don't know if it's about the one of Sam Poe is a gambler living without concern for how his wife will manage their household without his earning money. In order to get food and provisions, his wife Anne Hubble sleeps with various merchants in the village. See, I'm telling you, I was right.
Nailed it.
One of the few men she does not sleep with, a lustful servant named Sam Dool, decides to reveal her to her husband for revenge. Now, I'm pretty sure, given that this is a Japanese film, or a Chinese film, one or the other, I'm pretty sure this has nothing to do with the game, but I'm going to go on record this is the official Pong movie.
Sounds fantastic. There you go, 10 out of 10. Best movie ever.
Link in the show notes, 6.5 out of 10 according to IMDb. Out of 119 people rated it, and it runs for 1 hour, 54 minutes.
That's pretty good for an old... Wow, okay, yeah, cool. I reckon that's just probably people randomly finding out looking for Pong the movie, and then going, oh, mate, that's actually all right.
There was a sequel called Pong 2. Oh, it's South Korean.
There you go. Sounds about right.
What was Pong 2 about? I'm interested in what Pong 2 is.
The same thing, but the husband.
Chen Jion's wife is beautiful and all, despite his lowly job and reputation as the village idiot.
Beautiful. That sounds like... Is that the story of my life, but from the South Korean perspective?
I just wasn't expecting that next part of the sentence to arrive. A group of local boys jealous of Chung Jin jealous of the village idiot. Reporting
wow,
to the
you gotta be
Japanese
like, you gotta be really low down if you're jealous of the village idiot. Fuck.
Yeah, reporting to the Japanese police as a member of the Korean resistance.
Damn. The plot thickens. What a twist.
Followed by Pong. No, it gets better. There's a Pong 3.
No. Same thing? Same groove?
Freedom fighter Sam Poe, back with Sam Poe now, learns that his location has been discovered by the Japanese police, so he flees in the night, but not before leaving his girlfriend, Anak, behind as collateral on his gambling debts. Anak is uneducated and has no job skills, so the Dem to force her to work as a prostitute if she wants to earn her freedom.
Such
Please tell
beautiful
me there's a Pong
films.
4. Oh, there's no Pong 4.
I think they figured they'd worn that one into the ground.
No, they always intended it to be a trilogy, and unlike George Lucas, they decided they weren't going to fuck with it.
Yeah, there you go. So they didn't even bother re-editing it for the 10-year anniversary or whatever.
Yeah, there's the digital remastered version and so forth to come out later or something with new CGI in it.
It's the new 8K Blu-ray release.
8K, yes. 8K, yeah. They weren't such a popular range of toys in the shops, were they? The Pong series of films, as opposed to Star Wars.
Well, I mean, they tried. They had a fantastic game. It really accurately represented the films. It's not very often that a video game tie-in is that accurate.
I know, that game was spot on.
Yeah. I mean,
that was spot on.
I played all of my favourite scenes.
It's limited for the period of the time. You know, they only had so much technology, so they did what they could. But they somehow managed to pull the essence of Pong, the film, into Pong, the game.
And it was
despite the fact the game came out for the film, they still managed to do it somehow, which is really impressive.
Time paradox. It was an editing problem. That's why they kind of pitched it at the same time. And you know how sometimes scripts have to change a little bit, and then there was a lot of drama on set, and the film just kept getting pushed back, and no, yeah. that didn't happen. Pong the game came first. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mislead you like that, but
so Ys,
yeah,
tell us about Ys.
So was it like last year before, a couple of years ago, many years ago?
Every year.
I played Ys VIII. And I had many an option to play Ys VIII, Lacrimosa of Dana. I've already spoken about it on the podcast. But in the end, I played it on Nintendo Switch. I could have played it on Vita, because it came out on Vita, I believe. but I don't play games unless I can stream them traditionally. And well, Vita's a handheld, so that was out. We had the Vita TV, but that was a pain in the ass to stream, and had a game whitelist on it. So if the game wasn't on the whitelist, you couldn't actually play the game on it, even if it was a Vita game. You know, not on the whitelist, you can't play it on your telly. Stupid, right? Then I could have played it on PlayStation 4 because it came out on PS4. I'm pretty sure Ys VIII came out on Vita, but either way, comes out on PlayStation 4. My PS4's dead. Don't want to ruin the game for myself with a broken PlayStation that crashes every 15 seconds, so it doesn't matter. We'll go on to the Nintendo Switch when it comes out on Nintendo Switch. Played it, loved it, fantastic. There was one other option, which was PC. But the PC version was reportedly really, really, really bad. Really bad, like the port was just terrible. Ys VIII comes out. And it comes out on PlayStation 4, because traditionally these games come out on PlayStation first. And then after about 70 billion years, they come out on other platforms. And obviously I can't play Ys IX on my PlayStation because my PlayStation's dead. Comes out on Switch, and folks said if you didn't mind playing Ys VIII at a low frame rate, because the game is supposed to play at like 60 FPS on most other platforms other than Vita and Switch, which play at like 30 and 15, whatever. I swear it was on Vita, but I could be wrong. Switch, you have to be willing to play it at a lower frame rate. Ys IX, apparently the frame rate tanks even lower than 30 at times. And I was like, realistically, I want to have a smooth experience. Apparently even the PlayStation 4 version had a pretty rough time with Ys IX. So I was like, okay, so I can't play it on the PlayStation. The Switch is a bit wobbly. I bought it on the Switch, hoping that it would be okay. In the end, I didn't even bother launching it. So I bought it on PC. And I was like, I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna wait because chances are the PC port's gonna be wobbly, like every other JRPG that comes out on PC. I'll just wait, see if they patch it. And in the end, I got impatient. I was like, right, I'm gonna play through Ys VIII on PC and see what the hell people are complaining about. Have they fixed it? And the answer was, for the most part, yes. They have fixed Ys VIII. It wasn't perfect. There were a few graphical glitches here and there, and somehow I managed to overpower enemies a lot stronger than me by occasionally glitching the crit system. Like you could do massive combinations of critical hits, so you do a single sword swing, and maybe you'd hit the enemy like 15 times. And I'm like, ah! And then the enemy dies. Fantastic. Broken. Doesn't happen all the time, but it was fucking hilarious when it did happen. All of a sudden, this enemy has a whole health bar, and it just disintegrates. It was great. But played it through. Super happy fun time. It was like 40 odd, 50 hours. Got the super happy ending. Explored the map. Streamed the whole thing. It was a good laugh. And I was like, all right, well, if now that Ys VIII is fine, let's go for Ys IX. Ys IX had me super psyched because it's the latest in the series, obviously, 9, the newest one, but it's also the latest one as far as the chronology goes. So it actually goes something to this effect. Ys I, Ys II, Ys IV, Ys III, Ys V, no. 8 gets tacked in somewhere around 5, then 6, then 7, then 9. Something like that, but they're all over the place. So it's the latest one in the series. I get to see how the characters are changed. I get to see what's going on in the world after tying all the wonderful little pieces together. It's really, 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 really psyched to see what they're going to do with it. And realistically, honestly, I can't tell you a huge amount about it because I've only just gone through the tutorial. It's Ys VIII with a new coat of paint. A lot of the mechanics in it are Ys VIII, which was basically Ys VII, but with a few bits tacked on. Controls have been a bit refined. Graphics are gorgeous. The soundtrack is fantastic. Yet again, you play as Adol the Red. And it's
Has his boat sink this time?
No, because he doesn't arrive by boat. But funny
What?
enough, I know. It's funny actually. You mentioned that. The game does it too. Okay, so I can't tell you much about the story, but what has basically happened so far is Adol and Dogi have turned up outside of this city that is basically it's a big prison. It's a city, and in the middle of it is a fucking huge fortress that got turned into a prison. And as you're going up towards the main gate, there's loads of all of a sudden these guards are all there, and you're like, "Hey, what's going on? This is really dodgy. Is everything okay?" And they're like, "Oh, hey, we recognise you." I'm like, "Uh-oh, this can't be good." An entire platoon of soldiers turns up. You're Adol the Red, aren't you? Yeah.
No,
Well,
I'm not.
You're a fugitive of the,
No,
you're wanted in the Roman Empire, so your asses are going to be arrested. And you're like, I've done nothing, and then they just fucking more guards come out, they grab you and they drag you into prison.
I'm not Adol the Red. I'm Hitler the Blue.
There you go. Well, it's funny actually because he becomes Adol the Black later, because all it takes to outsmart all the guards is Adol dyes his hair. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. It's great. You get thrown into prison right at the start, and one of the things that happens is you get taken to an interrogation room, and this woman interrogates you, and she's like, "You're an adventurer." She basically calls him a compulsive liar. She's like, "Gods, alchemy, all this absolute rubbish. No way any of this is true. The only thing that I can find that you've done that is true is one time when you got involved with the Roman Navy and the whole shit went to hell for them. You've confirmed it. It was in the reports. I thought the reports were bollocks, but it lines up. Everything else, you are full of shit. In fact," and then she just goes through all these things from the different games. "You seem to be involved in an incredible amount of accidents at sea. How is that possible?" It's like, "That's not my fault." And she's like, "Well, I don't think that's just not possible. No one can be that unlucky at sea. How do I know you weren't conspiring with the crew?" It's like, "To do what? Sink their bloody boats? You crazy woman." But so the game pokes fun at all of these little bits right at the start. No one believes that Adol has been on all of these adventures. They just see him as this pain in the ass, thorn in the side, redhead crazy guy going around talking shit all the time. But you break out of prison, and as you're breaking out of prison, you get shot by this random person who curses you. Now that you've been cursed...
When you say curses, are we talking mystical curses or fuck off, Adol curses?
Mystical curses, because, it felt like a bit of a fuck you, because she shot you, and it's just like, well, now you've been cursed. It's like, why? Because I cursed you, that's why. It's like, well, that doesn't bloody help.
I hereby send you the curse of bullet in the chest.
Typical fucking woman.
So, now you've been cursed, you can't leave the city. So I've escaped the prison, and unlike most people who escape prison, I have to stay near the prison. And because it's funny.
That's called giving the guards a fighting chance.
Well, I suppose, because I'm hiding in plain sight. Dogi, Wall Crusher Dogi's there too, and he's like, I don't know how I feel at this. Hiding in plain sight, not being able to leave the city, right by the prison. It's a bit dodgy. New adventure starting. Oh well.
See you later, Adolf.
Not that big of a deal.
Sent to prison as well, or just Adolf?
No! They leave Dogi alone. They know he's there. They're like, "Oh yeah, you're Dogi the Wall Crusher. Pfft, you're a pussy." And they just leave him. They grab Adol, drag him to prison, and they're like, "Dogi, you're a pussy. Just go walk away, mate. Just walk off. You're nothing important."
What criminal justice system is this? This is worse than the American system. What is going on?
I know, it's mental. It's absolutely mental. And they're like in the prison. They're like, "Oh yeah, all you people, you don't have names. You've got numbers. Your seats are assigned. You can't talk to any other prisoners whilst everyone's talking to each other." It's like, what the fuck are you doing to enforce any of this? Nothing. The guards are like, "Oh, hey, mate, how you doing? It's pretty good, isn't it? Just don't cause me any trouble and we'll be good pally-pally." I'm like, this is absolute horseshit. Yeah, we don't know our way around half of this place because it used to be a fortress, but, you know, just don't get lost. That'll be fine. It's like,
who the hell's running this prison? Who the hell got put in charge as basically the most useless governor, warden of the prison service?
It's great, isn't it? Because the warden, he's new. He's in charge of the militia in the town as well. And all of a sudden there's holy knights there as well. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing there? And so I'm cursed. I can't leave. The town is run by complete and utter morons.
You can't tell someone who changed their hair colour.
Oh, well, that's just it. 'Cause it's like, well, how are we going to scope out the place? I know. I'll hide in this abandoned inn and I will dye my hair black. No one will know who I am. And it turns out, right, as part of Adol's curse, is that his clothes change into a more gothic-y overcoat, and his hair is slightly longer and redder, I suppose. And yet people are still like, is that the same guy?
Nah, it can't be. He's too good looking. He's got black hair.
To be fair, Skazz, it doesn't surprise me the one bit. Given that his history of how this prison is run, how they don't know their way around it, how they're all lost, and how they don't arrest both of them, I think if I were in the situation, I'd go for dye my hair because I think these guys are a bunch of idiots. This is going to work. I basically just like get a pen, draw a mustache on my face. It would work.
Yeah, I mean that is pretty much how it goes. Because he's like, yeah, you're still wearing the same clothes that you went into prison in, but you're wearing a scarf, a red scarf, and you've dyed your hair black.
Oh, it doesn't change the colour of the scarf then?
No, because you put on the red scarf. That's the only difference to your outfit. You've put on a scarf and dyed your hair. It's like Superman, yeah, if I put on my glasses and I put my pants on underneath my trousers, no one will know who I am. So
is this the double bluff? And the guard says, are you Adolf the Red? Would Adolf the Red wear a red scarf? That would give it away, wouldn't it?
Like,
suppose you're right. All right then.
Yeah, that's a bit... No, you're right. Be on your way. But that is pretty much how it happens. And because of the curse, if I use any of my cursed powers, because somehow I've gained cursed powers now, I can't really explain what but they're a way to navigate around the map. This one's more vertical, so you have the ability to like run up walls and things like that. But when you use these powers, you turn into your cursed form, which is the guy with the gothic red trench coat and the flame red hair again. No one fucking recognizes it's Adol. Literally, the guy's face is exactly the same. He can be talking to someone, and then all of a sudden he'll go from his red-headedness to the black-headedness. Oh my god, it's you, Adol! No shit! He even introduces, even when he's got black hair, he's still introducing himself as Adol. They're like, oh hey, you're Adol, aren't you? And he's like, they're like, don't like me, I know it's you, Adol. And then when all of a sudden he's got the flame red hair, they don't recognise him anymore. It's like, what?
I always love it. This is something I only ever see in computer games. When you're cursed, somehow you're better. Any computer game where you get a curse, you can like walk on walls, walk through things. You're cursed, you're really bad. It's really bad because, mate, I can jump over skyscrapers now. How's this a curse?
That is pretty much it. That is pretty much how it works. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. And that is literally all I've managed to figure out up to this point. Oh, and for some reason now I own a pub. I own a pub in the city, and some rich girl has given me the funds to run the pub and do stuff, but she knows that I'm a fugitive and a cursed being. Yeah, that's okay, I guess. And she's not going to rat me out for reasons, because I'm Adol. And the story would be pretty shit without me, I suppose. But yeah, like,
I was going to hang into the guards, Adol, but it turns out you've got plot armor, so I'm not going to be able to.
Yeah, that's it. You've got indestructible plot armor +1. But it's I don't know. Realistically, it is Ys VIII with a fresh coat of paint. Mechanically, which is technically Ys VII, but it's got all the same dodge and parry and guard mechanics. A lot of the quests function the same way. A lot of the side missions function the same way. Map is set up largely the same way, except, as I say, this one's got a bit more verticality to it. So like now you can climb up walls and access new areas that you wouldn't have been able to in other Ys games. So the map is now really fucking confusing. I'm still like, wait. There's a treasure chest here. Where is the treasure chest? It's right next to me on the map. Where is it? Oh, hang on a minute. It's on a level above me. Now how do I get to it? Is that something I can access now, or is that something that I'm going to need another ability for in the future? And I'm just like, I don't think that the world...
Do I need to get cursed again to access this chest?
I need another curse. I need a new one. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the map at this point, because this one takes place almost well, it takes place entirely in the city and in the prison. And the last time they tried that was Ys Origin, where that took place in one map, which was Darm Tower. Not hugely interesting. I think that the maps of Ys VII, Memories of Celceta, and Ys VIII were they're nicer than 9, but character design and music is fantastic at this point. As I say, controls are pretty solid. The port seems really, really good. But, I mean, straight away, as soon as the title went and you hear the kind of intro voiceover, chills down my spine. I was that psyched for it. As soon as the battle music hits, I was like, yeah, it's going to be great. And then the game says to me, my first disappointment. So, when you start the game, we've detected that you've got a save game for Ys VIII. And we will give you an item for your save game from Ys VIII. If you had a save game from Memories of Celceta, we'd have given you an item from that too. But you don't have a save data for Memories of Celceta, so go fuck yourself. And I was like, no, because I was live streaming. I was live streaming my kind of initial impressions, the first launch. I have got a save game for Memories of Celceta, but if I download Memories of Celceta whilst I'm streaming, this is going to tank the game. So I had to start -1 item. I'm aggro now because I'll never be able to get it.
Unless you restart from scratch.
No! That ruins the playthrough. But if you're on Switch, because Memories of Celceta didn't come out on Switch, they just give you the item. So, yeah. But it's nice so far. There's been some nice throwbacks. The story is ridiculous. It's full of stupid little jokes and in-comments for the other games. They've already mentioned Ys VIII. They've mentioned Ys VI. Just loads of little references, and that it's been kind of neat. And I'm only a few hours in, but when I actually get to give it a go, a proper go, and figure out what the hell is going on in this story, I'll actually properly talk about the game. But I do recommend people play it. But definitely play 8 and Memories of Celceta first, so you can get those initial items for the new game. But they've done a good... I think they've done a good job with the port. Considering the shit Ys VIII got, so far it's working great. It's recognised the control pad, it's recognising resolutions, although refresh rates on monitors aren't quite accurate. Because for some reason it thinks my monitor runs at 144 hertz when it doesn't. It's locked at 120 at the moment. But it's like, oh yeah, you know, we'll do this refresh rate too. No, you won't. Even though for some reason it then says, hey, do you want us to lock the frame rate at 60? The answer is yes by default. It's like, okay, whatever. But yeah, it's neat. I'm really, really, really looking forward to playing it. I'm hoping it's going to be another 50+ hour Ys game. But that means it's going to take a while before I actually get to talk about it properly. So
we'll look forward to that 2022 then.
Yeah! Ram, you need to play some Ys games.
Do I?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I really?
Yeah, you get to try and figure out this prison system, because I ain't got a fucking clue, mate.
Maybe get some lawyers involved in this.
Oh, mate, you should have seen... I think it was... I can't remember if it was Ys IV or Ys VII. You get arrested and sent to the Colosseum. And they're like, yeah, we have no proof that you did the thing that you did, but you're being sentenced to death. The only way you're getting out of this is if you win this fight and somehow escape. I was like, challenge accepted.
And did you?
Well, there's an Ys VIII. So yes, but
Yes, we've established these people can't tell the difference between Adol by hair colour, so it could be someone cosplaying as him, and they'd be convinced it's the same guy.
I'm actually worried there might be another person pretending to be Adol in Ys IX. So, because for some reason there was a cutscene where I was back in prison. I was like, "What's going on? Why do I keep waking up in prison? What am I doing?"
You having flashbacks?
It's like,
Perhaps
no.
he's dreaming, or perhaps actually the prison is actually very accurate and robust, and this has all just been a dream.
Yeah, see, you guys, you're like, everyone keeps saying that. Oh yeah, you're having flashbacks. The game does start, and then 30 seconds later it says, yeah, a week earlier, and I'm like, straight away. I'm gonna break out of prison, and now you're gonna tell me how I got put in prison. Thanks. You could have, opened with that, but no. Okay, fair enough. We'll start with breaking out of prison. And then I'll get thrown back in it, and then I'll end up out of prison again, and now I'm confused. And then you'll put me back in prison, and I'll be back out of prison. I mean, let's put it this way. By chapter 2, I was breaking back into the prison. So yeah. Great.
Yeah, the prison you just broke out of, yeah, you need to go back.
Yeah, it was great. They didn't really seem to care. I mean, they caught me in there. They're like, it's him! It's the Crimson King! Not Adol the Red, who looks identical. It's Adol! How many red-headed Germans do you see walking around your fucking city? Oh, look, there's a new red-headed guy in a big red jacket. That can't be Adol. He's just escaped from prison. But that guy's
Let's
turned
go
up.
ask him. Excuse me, are you Adol? No. Oh, not him then.
No, mate. Well, if you see him, can you let us know, eh? Looks a bit like you.
Mate, do you promise if you were Adol, would you tell us the truth? Yeah, of course I would.
Of course I would,
thanks, mate. Are you Adol? Yeah, no. Oh, all right then.
All right.
He said he promised he wouldn't lie, and he says he's not Adol, so he must not be.
Oh, well, let's go and have a coffee break.
Yeah. Let's go. There's someone. Look, someone's wearing a red t-shirt. Let's go ask them.
Yeah, that's it. That is literally it. And the fact that, seriously, when they arrested Adol, and the guard was like, yeah, Dogie, you ain't even worth my time. I was like, is that really a reason to let someone off? You're not worth the effort to arrest you. I was like, fine.
I love the fact that you got the two people. One's called Adol the Red, which could just mean it's his favourite colour. The other guy's called Dogie the Wall Breaker.
Wall Crusher, yeah.
Wall Crusher. Out of the two, who do you think you're going to arrest? I would go for the one called Wall Crusher.
Who used to be a bandit.
yeah. It's like, so we've got this right here. We've got John the Painter or like Cerberus the Murderer of Souls. Let's go for John the Painter.
I would. Sounds too dodgy to me.
Yeah.
No one has such a nice name.
Double bluff.
Oh, mate. Turns out he's a serial killer. Yeah, I mean, it's all right. Play it. So what have you been doing, Ram?
Well, a couple of things. So
Couple of things. Oh.
Couple of things, yes. Well, so game-wise, I've been playing a game called The Escapists 2.
2. Not 1.
Not 1, no.
The magazine, The Escapist?
No.
Okay.
So
didn't that come out around the time when loads of people were doing like the Angry Video Game Nerd the Game and all that kind of stuff, like based on internet series and stuff?
Possibly.
YouTuber's life and stuff like that.
No, it's nothing about that. It's nothing to do with the game.
Okay.
I get the feeling this has clearly been inspired by Prison Architect.
Oh, okay.
But a different way. So Prison Architect did actually eventually introduce a mode where it was like, okay, so you're designing prisons. Let's give you a mode where you are the prisoner,
and you get to break out.
Yeah, and the Escapists obviously saw this and thought that's a good idea. Let's just a whole game around that. So the whole game is you're a prisoner. Here's a prison. Escape out of it. So you start off as a very obviously your tutorial prison is a very basic prison and gives you the basics of how to escape. So you have to basically you start off in the prison, and you're already in the prison to start. And that's to see if I've just done anything. But anyway, whatever. Anyway, you're in the prison. At the start of the game, you're in the prison. And when you're starting the prison, what you need to do, just as you're starting the prison, is to
Whilst you're in the
you have
prison
to
at the start.
yeah, you basically have to attend like basically as there's a time limit on the game as it goes round, and as you play it, you'll get like sort of you have to follow like sort of a routine in the prison. So there'll be like roll call, exercise.
So what you're saying is you can't
shows.
break out as the guards are walking by because they've got their rounds. So you choose
That-
to pick a time when they're not around.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Well, you do that as well, but you have to. They will notice if you don't attend the sort of routine in the prison. So every time you miss, like doing the exercise, that will basically increase the security level of the prison.
Okay.
So the prisons have a security level 1 to 5 stars, a bit like GTA, and the higher the figures go, the more guards they put in the prison, and also the more eventually they'll start putting dogs into the prison.
I love doggos.
Yeah,
Perfect.
you won't love these doggos. They're faster than you, run you down, hold you down, and basically savage you.
They nom on your nuggies.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, and also at the very highest level, they actually release SWAT team members into the prison to just beat everybody up.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
So the exact opposite to what happens to Adol then.
Pretty much, yeah.
Are you a prisoner? No, mate.
Yeah, no, Adol. These guys are competent. They know, like they psychically know that they just look at you and go, he's dodgy. The dogs are psychic. They know if you're carrying like a hammer. They know. They just know, and they will pull you down.
They've rubbed down all of your tools with dog food and biscuits.
Yeah, these dogs. This is our sniffer dog. He's trained to sniff hammers. So yeah,
beautiful.
so you have to. So you're in your prison, and what you have to do is basically follow the routine of the prison, so you don't basically sort of play along with the prison guards. You know, go to the make sure you definitely don't miss roll call. If you miss roll call, then instantly it goes level 5 lockdown. All out because they
Ram.
yeah. And
Next day, Ram. That sounded a bit different.
Present. That's what we used to say. And yeah, so you have to. So the routines prison will be slightly different. So it might be a case. Okay, you have roll call at 6 a.m. Then you have breakfast in the cafeteria. Then afterwards, you've got a bit of free time until lunchtime in the cafeteria. So then you might have to do your job. So you can apply to do a job in the prison. And if you do, so that can be like, waste management, like disposing of all like waste into various. It's basically a little mini game. Like you have to dispose of the right coloured rubbish bag into the right coloured incinerator.
Prison guard.
Yeah, no. You could do that, I suppose. But as far as I'm aware, you can't kill anybody in this game. I think you can lock them out, and then
I was just saying, you definitely can't be a prison guard then.
Yeah. So
Adult cosplayer.
Yeah. So the prison guards are quite happy to come knock you out if you upset them. And you do your job. They might have to go do exercise and then perhaps have a shower, and then perhaps a bit more free time. There's usually like one final roll call just before bedtime, and then you have to go back to your cell. And if after you're given like sort of a few seconds to get back to your cell, if you're not in your cell at that time, or they catch you up, if you're not in the cell doing lights out, they find you outside the cell, then that's like instant lockdown. They'll come after you, send the SWAT after you, and take you down, basically.
So what you're saying is, every time you need to break out, if you need to have an excuse, you need to make sure that you time your breakouts with Vindaloo Day.
Exactly. What is amusing though is, of course, the way the game works. It tracks. You just have to like be in the right area during the time frame. So for roll call, as long as you walk into where the roll call happens, you'll get a little tick saying, "Yeah, you've attended roll call." You can immediately walk back out again.
Oh no, I've got like 2 seconds. Walks in the door, walks back out. Nailed it.
Yeah, that is. But as long as you're in there, enough to go, bink. Yep, you're there. You've done it. You can go off. You can clear off. So the idea of the game is it's really basically sort of like a puzzle game. Really, you're observing sort of the routine of prison, work out when you can do your best option to escape, when's the best sort of time to break out, looking for like weak spots where you can break into vents, break through walls, where your areas are going to be noticed, because you're there with there's 2 guards patrol around the rooms and so forth, and they will if they go into a room and they find a wall's damaged, they'll obviously repair it, and that'll make them think something's going on. They'll raise the security level. So you can't just, you have to pick and look, sort of work out where you need to go, where it's safe to go. You can do certain things. So you can craft, like when you break out walls, you craft like posters to stick over the hole in the wall, so they don't know you're breaking out. So you do little tricks like that. So there are ways and means around it. So that's one part of it, is work your way, work out the routine, work out when the best to break out. The other bit is then obviously then you have to get the tools to do it. So it has a fairly robust crafting system, and it's usual three ingredients to make an item.
Three ingredients.
Yeah, 3 parts, 3 components, whatever you want to call it.
I need to pick a lock. I need a cupcake, a teacup, and a stool.
Yeah.
So, let's be fair. Adol breaks out of a fortress with nothing but a fork and a curse.
Well, yeah, the curse helps quite a bit by the sounds of it. You can run up walls.
Yeah, that's a great curse.
Yeah, I mean, do things like it's fairly robust. So you can do things like you can if like for example you break through a vent using using a metal file, you'll break through the vent, but you destroy it in the process. Or you can use a screwdriver and unscrew the vent and go through it, and then you can put the vent back so nobody knows.
Oh, that's clever. So you get to choose. You get to choose a destructive path to get. I guess that's quicker. But leaves.
It depends on the level of the tool. Okay. Screwdrivers is. I mean, I was using a basic tool, so it took quite a while, but it was a very basic, shitty tool.
Mm-hmm.
So you craft a tool out of basic parts, and then so you can upgrade it which works by crafting the next tier up, and then the previous tool is one of the components needed for the next tier.
Mm-hmm.
Method of upgrading things. So how you upgrade things is based on your intelligence. So you have to go to read a book, and you play that little mini game to basically, and as long as you pass the mini game, your intelligence will go up. That same works also for strength and for fitness, which controls your stamina. Strength obviously controls how hard you hit things. So you can you basically do these little mini games to improve them up. It's fairly quick. If you can quite happily get up to a high level fairly quickly. Not really, like probably a few in-game days, you can max out most of the stats. I'm on the prison I'm at the moment. I'm day 7, and every stat's maxed out now. Just through sort of convenience, sort of planning and timing, and when to go and work. That's sort of the ideal routine to do stuff. And that unlocks higher level recipes.
I mean, is there any need to max out character stats? Could you just say halfway it and then brute force through, or
no, there's no. Well,
is there an optimum level that you could realistically achieve to be able to get through most of these, or is max level kind of a must?
No, not necessarily. No. So intelligence, crafting I think crafting the highest level tier requires 70 intelligence. So once you reach level 70, you're there basically. I just maxed it out because why the hell not? I've got some free time. So and then
yeah.
I'm in prison. I've got a bit of spare time.
It's not fair. I never get to do what I want to do.
Yeah, I was quite like it actually. I can just go read a book for a couple of hours. It's quite nice.
So what we're saying is, if you disappear for the next 6 months, it's because you've gone to prison because you want a break.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go commit some fraud somewhere. Something that doesn't hurt anybody directly. Commit some fraud somewhere, and so I can just go down for a few months. A bit of peace and quiet. Sounds quite nice actually. So crafting tools, you can either you have to search. So you can search other prisoners' cells, see if you can or desks to try and find tools. So go in their cells and there's no guards about. The guards they will say get out of there. They'll tell you off. They will react if for example it's roll call and they see you not going to roll call. They'll say to you, hurry up, get over there. You need to go over there. They won't make you do it. They'll comment on it and say you need to get over there. Which I suppose is actually fairly realistic. Go over there, go on, sort it out. But yeah, you're sort of searching around, trying in the boxes, trying to find tools. Some prisoners you can actually trade with and buy stuff off, and that's usually where you get the more unusual components. You can also, obviously, if you find a way to break into some secure areas. So doors will be there's like color coded key cards to the doors. So some areas you can just go in no problem. Some like guard areas you can't get in without the right key card. You also can't. Some doors, like for example, only like the job doors, you can only access your workstation or your job area. You can't access the others. So if you want to get to other places, you will need to find a way to break into like vents and stuff to basically make your way around. The vent network itself don't link up everywhere, so you have to like work out the way around. And like you can view a map and work your way around which ones to go to. I need to go up there, climb through here, drop down there, then go into this bit here and climb up there and so forth to work your way around. So you have to think about it. So it's a puzzle game really. And then you can get the more high level components and craft more and gradually build it to break out. Like, so you have to work around sort of like the times and stuff. So like, the one at the moment, I'm digging an underground tunnel, but I'm gonna be conscious of the time. It's like, roll call's coming up. I'm gonna have to stop now, go to roll call until do my day-to-day stuff, and come back to this tunnel today. There's some other neat things as well. So the tunneling, for example, you have to brace the tunnels. You can't just like keep digging forever. You have to build a wooden brace and brace the tunnel up so it doesn't collapse on you, which is neat.
So you have to like gather materials, extra mats and stuff, or does that just take more time to?
So to build the frames, you need wood. So you have to find wood and so forth. Everything requires you to find stuff. It's one of those games where it's fairly nitty gritty. Everything has to be done. You have to find all the right components and so forth before you do anything. So there are some annoying things. So for example, when you break a wall down, you pick up soil from the broken wall. But you can't just dump that anywhere. And if like your inventory is full, it'll just stop the wall. You'll just like stop breaking the wall down. You'll just like, I can't do it anymore. My inventory's full. I can't break this wall down because I ain't got space to put the soil in.
Oh,
that's a bit annoying. It's like, well, I don't want the soil. Just let it fall on the floor. I don't need it. And as you can't dump it, you can dump it on the floor, but if the guards see it, they'll like think something's amiss. So I had a bit of a moment where, as they should. So I had a bit of a moment where I found this little room. The guards weren't going in and out, so I used this to dig down. It's just all like there's like mine shafts underneath the prison. I'm in Texas, so there's like sort of mine shaft underneath this fort, and which is now a prison. So I dug down, dug a hole, which was fine. But when I was going in there, my plan was to clear up the soil so that the guards couldn't see me. See what's going on, and as I happened to walk too near the door, the doors open automatically. There's a guard walking past, and he just like, what's all that over there? And he just comes into this room. There's me standing in the corner. There's like massive saw. There's a massive hole in the ground. I go, well, I'm off then. Bye. And just tootle off and just wander out like nothing doing me. And then of course the guard sees it and goes, and then like because every bit of saw he finds increases the security level. So next thing I know is lockdown. Now I'm carrying a load of equipment and tools. So and there's now releasing the dog. The dogs will sniff me out. So I have to go find like this corner of this random room somewhere, just hide there and just hope the dogs don't come in the room and find me. Luckily he didn't. And now I was able to go back downstairs and just like nonchalantly walk back to my prison and hide my illegal stuff. Oh, the guards will actually every day at roll call, morning and afternoon, they randomly pick 2 prisoners to search. And they'll search like your desk and stuff to see if you've got anything in there.
So make sure you're not carrying around dodgy stuff, but like when you're like, I can grab this stuff in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So you have to be a bit more careful to...
Yeah. They search your desk, so your desk has a hidden compartment which you can hide stuff in, and they won't find it, so you have to be a bit careful where you put it, but there's not obviously very big, the hidden compartment, so you can't put up anything. Oh, so some areas will have metal detectors, which if you're carrying contraband detectors, I should say, because they'll go off when you're carrying anything dodgy if it's not metal. So if you set one of those off, you need to basically hide up. Because if they do knock you, if they knock you, you get knocked out because you get in front of another prisoner. The doctors will confiscate anything on you that is not yours that you shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. So you end up being confiscated. If you get knocked out during a lockdown, you get put in solitary confinement.
Oh, brilliant!
You're stuck in there for time. But you can peel potatoes to make time go by quicker.
All right.
Yeah. So I've sort of took me a little while to get into it, but now I have, and I sort of like I think it's one of the ones that you have to sort of experiment. Once you sort of know what you can do, and you start seeing the plans. It's a bit overwhelming at first, I found. Once I learnt what I could do, the crafting and so forth, I started like coming up with plans, and I thought, okay, I've got a goal now. So the first prison took me ages to break out of because I didn't really know what I was like, okay, I'm in this prison. It's like it's like, to its credit, and I kind of like that. The game is like just says, right, there you go, here's your prison, off you go, figure it out. And I do like that actually in games. I think I'm so used to now sort of more modern games where they tend to handhold you quite a lot.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, off you go, figure it out. And you don't really, you've been showing the basics of how to craft, how to do stuff, and the basic idea of how to escape. This is like, no, off you go, figure it all out. I actually wanted to get out because I saw like, there were so many options. I was like balanced trying to do like too many things at once rather than saying, no, this is my plan of how I'm going to get out. This is what I need. This is the resource I need to gather. I'm going to focus on that and concentrate on getting it through and just make sure I don't cause any ripples by messing up the routine and so forth. I'm just going to concentrate on getting out and not upsetting the guards too much. Once I'd done that, I was able to get out. And the prison I'm on now, I'm working through a lot quicker because I know what I need to do. I know what materials I need. I'm searching for them, I'm trading for them, I'm working at prison. I'm doing favours for prisoners as well, where you have to like retrieve certain goods for them and so forth. They'll give you money that makes them happy with you as well, so more will trade with you. And I'm gradually working out what I need to get stuff. Oh, you can also ring up, go on the phone and call people for help, like on the phone and call people, and you can like, ask them for recipes and stuff.
Right.
So I got the cattle pod recipe today.
Right.
Because I'm in because I think I'll unlock because I'm in the sort of Texas prison because like Texas cows, you get the cattle pod recipe now, so I've got that. But it's also quite nice because it's this nice little ecosystem around the prison with you have the guards, or the enforced guard, you've got guard dogs, you've also got medics, you've got like just general workers. There's also a warden. What I also love is the workers don't give a shit at all. You can undo a vent, drop down to the room where the worker is, and they'll go, eh.
Yeah, above my pay grade.
It's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. They won't report you for like doing something dodgy, which it's funny, but there's like a bit because I feel like, well, what's the point? I might as well. It should be able to have like sort of like somehow like they should be like themselves should be patrolling. I've got to avoid them as well. They see me out. They don't necessarily have to attack me. If they see me like somewhere I shouldn't be, they should be like going, "Oh, I better go get a guard. You shouldn't be here," type things. But no, they don't give a shit. Even if you're out after lights down, if you walk past, you can walk past the workers in lights out, and they won't give a shit.
That's pretty much like what happens at the start of Ys IX, and is like, look, I don't care what you do, just don't cause trouble on my shift. I was like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. That's what it feels like. Oh, there's also guard towers around the prisons as well, with snipers in them. And if they see you doing something dodgy, they'll just shoot you.
It's definitely Texas.
Yeah. So there's some more interesting. So the second prison I played is actually on a moving train. You're on a train carriage, you have to sort of escape. But there's a timer to get off the train.
Right.
And I had to sort of like sneak around the train. Oh, and the guards in that one said, look, if you're outside your prison cell, we don't care, we're going to beat you up.
Beautiful.
The guards, yeah. So I was like, don't, because you're only on here for transport, you don't need to be wandering around. If we see you outside, we're going to beat you up. So you have to sneak past those guys. And I escaped that one by finding a couple of pens and I think it was a handkerchief found, and combined to make a fake carrot, which I held at the side of the train to lure a horse, which I then jumped on and rode away. That's perfectly logical.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty neat. So it's but yeah, so it's pretty neat. It's I say it's a. I took me a while to get into it, but now I've sort of got into it. Now I sort of go over that hump of know what to do. I've found myself really enjoying it. I'm like, I was playing it to about 9:15 tonight before I came onto this. And I thought I'm nearly out. I've nearly escaped. Oh, now I need something to brace the tunnel with. Right, okay, I need to do that, and I've got a plan. I'm going to get out of this prison. They're never going to know. So let's say fine, because I've got my level 3 spade and my level 3 pickaxe and my level 3 file. I have cutters. I'm going to get out of this and escape, and I'm going to probably load it up as soon as we finish this podcast. I'll probably load it up again and just escape from that prison and be happy.
There you go.
Oh, I suspect the developers. I have a feeling developers might be English. I also suspect the developers don't like center parks. Because the first prison you go to is called Center Perks, and you have to escape from. When you escape, you get like awarded something like the achievements on like holiday time. Is the achievements? I suspect they don't like center parks very much.
Beautiful. Or the fact that we tend to call minimum security prisons holiday parks.
Oh well, maybe could be that.
Well, I mean,
I've never heard them called that personally, but
yeah, that's generally what people call them in the UK. Because the idea that minimum security prison, they're practically just walking around watching TV and playing PlayStation all day.
Yeah, sounds good to me. So all prisoners gamers then?
Pretty much.
No, okay. That explains so much about online gaming culture.
Yeah, it's about right.
Yeah,
they're just the ones that haven't been caught yet.
So next time we're on voice chat with some random pubs, should I just say, so what did you do to get in here?
Yeah, pretty much. That's it. That's the groove. It's like, oh, mate.
Yeah, neat game. Quite fun. So if you enjoy Prison Architect, you'll enjoy this because it's basically like the other side of it. And it's clearly been inspired by Prison Architect. So yeah, really neat little game.
Cool.
Awesome. Other thing I've been doing.
Watching.
Should I say did, which was last weekend. I played Phasmophobia IRL.
Right, you went ghost hunting.
I did. I don't believe in ghosts. So I went, but I've always wanted to go ghost hunting.
That sounds. Sorry, I just want to throw out there how ridiculous that sounded.
I know.
I don't believe in it, but I've always wanted to hunt them.
I just think it looks like a fun evening, just to sort of like sit around and shout at things, and then when you hear some random general purpose creaky noise, automatically blame it on a spirit. Just seems like a funny thing to do.
I just want to throw out there, mate. I've filmed sarcastic air quotes ghost hunters, and it was absolutely hilarious because I didn't have any stock in the game. They really did, and even just seeing, because I had like an IR camera, just seeing the front of my camera light up at any point freaked them out. It was.
I say no, it does that. It's meant to do that.
It's like, it's amazing. Oh mate, I'm seeing activity, and it's like, no, it's just the camera crew.
There's some weird rustling in the corner, and look, what's his thing on a big boom with a spongy thing over it? It's a spirit manifesting. No, Yvette, that's a sound man.
That's it. It's a sound spirit.
I'm in here doing a lone vigil, plus the two cameramen, the sound man, the director, and the producer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the special effects. Yeah, the special effects person.
the guy that triggers the lights in the room.
Yeah, and then we've got the working 10 with a sheet over his head.
So did you had fun?
I had great fun. I was absolutely great fun. So it's by a company called called Haunted Habits. They've got loads. This company. There's like 30.
You paid to go on it? Oh no.
Yeah. It's all they've got licenses to go around the various all big places. This one, so you can go around sort of like they do loads of like old army bases and all sorts. There's like 30 odd people there.
Mate.
I was quite surprised actually.
Mate. Mate. Now you're going to tell me you're an anti-vaxxer.
No, definitely not. So went along to it. Quite straightforward. And they sort of talk you through. So they sort of say, hey, who's here? Who the skeptics? I put my hand up. There's about 3 of us in the whole room of 30 people. It's like, okay, good start. So,
you're about to get the shit kicked out of you.
No, he says they don't mind if you're skeptic. We don't mind. Fight your hair, try out. That's cool. So, first of all, we go downstairs. So in this sort of castle, in this castle, and we go downstairs to, I'm assuming was the cellar, because we never weren't choosing. There's no sort of saying what it was because the castle's now a museum, which is it's weird walking around a museum at night. So we went down to to the sort of cellar part of it, and the doorways are like sort of like 3 foot tall. So I was having to crouch on like all fours to walk through them. There's like sort of like 3 rooms in a row doing this. So it's like, oh, my back's gonna give out doing this.
It's fantastic.
So,
and then you'll
okay,
become a
it's
ghost. So you live rocking around Norwich Castle.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we go into the sort of first room. They turn out all the lights, and he also puts on the floor. He's got a torch that's it's like a twist switch on, so it doesn't have a button. You just twist it and it switches on or off.
Yeah.
Really cheap basic torch. He has like this ball that is motion. If you walk near it, it goes off, flashes. And I think he put something else down. What else did he put? I put an EMF reader down. Oh, incidentally, I now know that people who make Phasmophobia have literally just copied exactly what these things are. If you literally, the EMF reader they had was identical to the one in Phasmophobia. It's like, you guys just literally, you haven't even tried to like sort of hide the copyright issue on this. You've literally just found these companies and just copied it exactly. Which is those. I thought. I'm sure. I suppose these companies who make EMS probably haven't got the same amount of money as, say, McLaren have to pursue.
Well,
copyright infringement. So, but I thought I was quite amused. It's like I picked this EMS. Like, oh, I remember using this in Phasmophobia when I got killed. See, Phasmophobia I find more scary because the ghosts did exist because they're programmed in, so you knew they were there.
You knew they were there, so they were scarier.
Yeah. Whereas this one, I was the whole evening I wasn't bothered at all. I just like sat there, like I'm not. I thought psychologically I thought perhaps it will start to get to me a bit because dark room, like your brain's hardwired to be worried about that sort of things because the old animal instinct kicks in and your brain's wired up to be scared of the dark.
You're more worried about being stabbed in the back by one of the other people that were there.
Exactly. So I wasn't worried at all in the slightest. The people next to me, there's one poor lass. She's like, "Oh, I'm so terrified." He said as he speaks, he's just saying, "Is anybody there?" Nothing's happened yet, but she's like, "Oh, I'm so terrified." Some people they're being pushed and pulled. Somebody said they could feel themselves going cold. His little board did light up and roll across the room. And he put his torch on the sort of shine on it. I tried to see where his feet were, and they were on the ground. But they didn't look like they'd just been moved. Sometimes you can just see when someone just put their foot back down.
Yeah, you were seeing if he triggered it himself.
Yeah, I was trying to see if he triggered it himself. I couldn't tell, so I put that down as inconclusive. But he could have done it quick enough. I just didn't see it, but I'm putting that as inconclusive. But his ball did move across the room.
So what you're saying is, if you quickly saw it, if you saw him kind of swipe, and the ball ricocheted off the wall and tagged someone in their head, then someone definitely moved.
Yeah. I mean, on my watch brief. So, ghosts on the watch. I mean, people were saying they were seeing like figures moving about. That I don't do because if you're in a dark room, most rooms aren't truly dark. There's usually some ambient lights, and these rooms weren't truly dark because there were security systems there, and they also have some LEDs showing that they're running. So there's a small little bit of light. It's surprising how little light you need to see. And if you stand in a room, just to sort of like, that sounds so weird, just the liquid in your eyes moving over your eyeballs will make things start to seem like there's stuff moving around. Mm-hmm. If you go stand in a virtually dark room, you will see stuff moving about because it's just literally the water in your eyes moving about. I mean, now if you look outside, you'll probably see like something flowing across your eyes because you get the little bits of dirt and grass again in your eyes that float across.
Yeah, floaters. It's just fat.
Exactly.
It's fat deposits.
Yeah. And in the dark, they could look like something moving. So I was like, I'm not too biased. I mean, I did see a green flash, which looked like a little LED flashing. And where it flashed, there was nobody. It couldn't have been anybody. But again, it was sort of such a split second. I put down to just a random visual glitch.
Yeah,
that occurred. So I wasn't totally confused. But I did see something. I thought that did happen. I did see it, but I don't believe that was anything there. I think it's just a visual glitch. Oh, it was interesting. Some people were allowed to go off by themselves. If you wanted, you could choose to alone vigil. They put them into like a random dark room all by himself. I was hoping to have a chance to do that later on. I didn't get a chance, unfortunately. I would like to have done a lone vigil just to sort of see the psychological effect.
You'd have been sat there and cracked open a magnet, and that'd have been it.
Yeah, there was some person. this poor guy, he put this girl on the sort of archway, and she just suddenly said, "Someone just breathed over my shoulder." We just heard from the other end of the room, "Sorry, I sniffed." So that was
Sorry,
first.
Matt, I had a rotten curry.
Yeah. So, someone did fart as it came into the room.
Oh, mate.
And the guy goes, "Now I can assure you that wasn't a ghost." So he said ghosts are more polite.
Oh, there you go.
So then they split us up into like, okay, this group's going to go off with the experienced people who's done it before. You guys come off with this. You go for serious, and you're going to do another little vigil. The ones who haven't done it before, you come back upstairs. We're going to show you the equipment that we've got, how it all works, and talk you through it. So they took us upstairs. They showed us how the EMF reader worked. They showed us they had a spirit box. They showed us that working. They had a table for table tipping, and it had a yes no carved into it. They had a number of Ouija boards, dowsing rods, which they showed us how to use. So as soon as I got dowsing rods, I was like, "Oh, here we go." And my mother wanted to come along with us, so she's the one who bought this for me as a Christmas present, and she came along as well. She's always do ghost hunting as well. She is probably more on the scale of belief and non-belief. She's more the believer side.
She's an enthusiast.
Yeah, she's more. She's not. I would say she's not convinced, but she's definitely more. Whereas I'm like, nah, it definitely exists. She's very much like, oh, there might be something there. The dowsing rods. I was sat there thinking, I wasn't getting any response. She was getting yes and no's. So when they cross, they show yes, and when they come for no's. And I was using this dowsing rods. I thought, I wonder what happens if I just. And I was like, just sort of like fiddling a bit. I sort of stopped asking yes or no questions, and I very quickly worked out how to make dowsing rods cross and uncross without actually looking like you're moving.
Right.
It's the slightest, because you hold them so loose in your hand, just the slightest tilt of your wrists, if you're to makes them go in the direction your wrists are leaning. So if you tilt your wrists slightly inwards, they'll go and they'll cross. If you tilt your wrists slightly outwards, they'll go out and cross. And I said to my mum, I figured these out. I just sat there and I said, look, I said, ask me a yes/no question. She did, and I just said, oh, there you go, yes. I turned them back out and said, ask me a question. Says no, and I turned them back out. And at one point, I said, oh, spirits, our dowsing rods are a load of crap, and I made them say yes.
There you go.
So I said, I figured this out. I said, I could see actually somebody. I could see somebody not realise they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I could see someone subconsciously thinking they're getting answers, yes, no answers, not realise. They probably generally believe they are, not realising that they are just their own fine, because it's such a tiny movement you need to do to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't tell I was moving my hands, but it's so tiny you could make it work. So I could see how somebody could self-convince themselves that it's working.
Sure.
So it's like, okay, I think I think they're a load of nonsense. So after that, we then went and we then split up into two groups. So our real group A, there's group B as well, obviously. We went back down, sort of they went to the prison. And it was quite cool. The prison we went to the prisons in this castle were original. They still had all the original wooden fixtures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So from like hundreds of years previously. That was kind of cool, actually. That was actually neat. But I was like, oh, this is all original.
So throughout the last time I went to Norwich Castle, we locked my friend in the stocks.
Yeah,
So,
this I will say this wasn't Norwich Castle.
I'm just saying. Last time we went to Norwich Castle and we saw any of that stuff, we locked a couple people up in them. So that was good.
Always good. Did you throw things at them?
No, sadly.
Oh,
Could have thrown a suit of armor at him, I suppose, if I could have dragged it down down the steps. But
yeah, mate, we're gonna throw some things at you. Like what? I think these spears.
oh, that'd be rad.
Yeah. Oh, so-and-so's found a crossbow. We're going to throw that at you. Well, just the bolt part. But his arm's a bit up, so you can use the crossbow to throw it for him.
I'm using my dowsing crossbow.
Yeah. Spirit. You shoot him through the head for yes, shoot him through the arm for no.
Hands up, be water.
So, we went to prison. Again, he had this other little thing. He called it a pot, and basically it's a. I can never remember the name of them. You know those it's a little motion sensor that uses, you know, those little sensors where you just, there's like that musical instrument that guy built where if you put your hand just near it, it makes Theremin, that was it. I knew it began with a name. I knew it began with a TH. I can't want to call it familimide, but that's a
No, I was
drug.
gonna say that's something very different.
Yeah, it's something very different. So like pheromone type device, he had it near and he put it in the doorway, and that was all set it up, and that was quiet, just flashing away. Put his little ball down and his torch down, and he started the usual. We didn't have a vigil, so he started asking questions. Anyone there? So forth. They said, "Do you want anyone else want to try?" So my mother, being the person who's just used to working at Sunday groups and just jumping in immediately and asking and sort of volunteering stuff, started asking questions. And as she started asking questions, the torch started lighting up, like in response. As she said, ask for yes or no, it would light up when it at sort of like appropriate times. And also shortly after it started doing that, his little pot thing started making a noise, as if there was someone stood near it. So we kept going, and we basically, if we believe this all was true, we established that we were talking to a young 11-year-old girl who wasn't in the dungeons, but she knew someone who was, and was scared of the man in the doorway who was setting the pot off. That's what we established through yes or no questions.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Now, I didn't get a chance to look at the torch, so I don't know if he rigged it. I would like to assume these guys aren't. They said at the start that we don't rig anything, or anything like that. And some of the other people who we were with who done different companies said to us, look, we like this company because the other ones we've been on, we can tell they are scammers. Well, again, because they're all scammers, but they could tell they're scammers. We could tell they were faking it all. Whereas these people seem to be like, legit doing it. Legit sort of following processes. So I suppose sort of like I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I have no reason to disbelieve them. Unless you want to think about getting money through at the ends of it.
Okay.
But I'm gonna give them a pass now. But it could just be a foil torch, it could be just randomness. Who knows? But yeah, his torch was indeed lighting up at the right, and it was lighting up virtually on time every time. I found that actually quite interesting. I thought that was quite interesting. I found myself getting very cold, like goosebumps on my arms in that room. Cold. Mother who sat next to me, she was fine. She's actually hot. Now, I sort of thought sat down to the fact that where I was standing, there was like another prison cell behind me, and there was a hole in the wall. And when I put my arm through the wall, it was quite cool in there. So I feel I just hit a cold front from the other room. But I did feel cold. And interestingly, when he did switch off his little pot, because he said his main team's got fed up, I'm fed up with this machine making all this noise. He switched that off. Everything else stopped. Everything just stopped, disappeared, and we didn't get any more response after that. So that was interesting. I actually found that quite interesting. I'm not saying no one to convince me, but I found that interesting. We then went downstairs to do table tipping.
Right.
So table tipping, for those who don't know, you literally have a table. You basically rest your fingers on the table very lightly, and the idea is that the ghosts will wobble the table and lift up, get up on one leg, spin it round. So we were trying that. We weren't getting much result. Now, I was very conscious of what I was doing. So I was like, I'm going to put my fingers on this table. I'm going to very lightly touch it. However, I'm just going to hold them there, let the table move like underneath them. I'm not going to like properly go with it. I'm not, because what I think was happening there a little bit, I think we were getting a bit of, for lack of a better term, a bit of resonance happening. Where basically a bit like water, like it's like pushing a child on the swing. Every time it comes down, you push it just the right time to get to build up the momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Or walking around with a bucket of water, it sloshes, and if you get into rhythm with it, it gets faster and faster and faster.
Oh, so what you're basically saying is one person shifts it on purpose, the other person subconsciously shifts with it, and then you actually get proper movement rather than...
Yeah, because you're all adding together, basically.
Yeah.
Because when I was just being conscious to just rest my hands on it, not push down or anything like that to hold it, just rest my hands on it, but not go with the rhythm, it barely moved. When I would allowed my hands to go with the rhythm, it started to move really a lot. I suspect that's what was happening there. I suspect it was somebody, and again, I feel a lot of this is unconscious. I don't think people deliberately are making it happen.
Most people aren't. It only takes one lead.
Yeah,
usually.
And I think, it takes one person to do a little push up, even realizing it, and it can start to build. So I personally, and the people we were with was a family of various generations, and they were like, and they were sort of like trying, because we were getting much luck until I sort of let myself go with it a bit. I found that really, I was going to, okay, I think this is just a case of we're building up ourselves type job. Because when it's like, right, well, let's get onto 2 legs, I was like, it's going to be on the left side of the table, it's going to go up, and it goes, and it did, it's like, oh yeah, that's what I thought was going to go. And I sort of predicted which one it is, and I was like, and when it went up to 1 leg, the leg I guess was to the right one. So I thought, I wasn't convinced by that. But at one point we started doing yes/no questions. We had a little like, what should call it, planchette. Looks like a teardrop type thing with a little pointer on it, and you can basically ask. Yeah, you put your hands on it, and then you ask yes/no questions, and the idea is it moves the yes or no on the table. And they basically start to say, do you know anyone around this table that moved to one of the people? And she said, and they asked it name, do you know name? And they went to the yes. And they established that it was their grandmother/mother who they were talking to. We were told when doing this sort of stuff, you should ask control questions. So you should ask a question that... So let's say, for example, you'll say to them, was your... is Uncle Howard with you? And knowing full that Uncle Howard is still alive, and if they say yes, then you know that the ghost is lying to you. Or it's like another ghost pretending to be somebody else. Is how they put it to us.
Sure.
So they ask us, yeah, sure. One thing I did notice, again, I think this is subconscious, is one asking the questions tended to, if it was ones they wanted the yes to, they'd say, if the answer is yes, go to yes. If the answer is no, go to no. When it was a question that was a control question, they'd say, if the answer is no, go to no. If the answer is yes, go to yes. They flip it round. I think they're probably doing it unintentionally. And it would... So I, who didn't know these people, knew what the correct answer should be.
Yeah.
Before doing it. I also noticed it tended to move from the top where most people had their hands. The bottom corner where me and one other guy was, it sort of tended to pivot on, but the sort of like main force of it was on the top part.
Yeah.
So again, I suspect it's a case of if everybody around them knows each other, they know the answer, they're going to subconsciously push it again. I don't think people do doing this deliberately. I don't think they know they're doing this. So it's subconsciously going to move it to the yes or the no. This went on for some time. So they obviously, I won't take it away from them. They were absolutely convinced. Most of them seemed absolutely convinced that they had contacted their dear old grandmother/mother. I would never take that away from somebody saying, no, if it's a load of bollocks. So I was like, no, you had a good result, went along with it. I would never take it away from them because if that gives them a bit of peace, then who am I to say, no, it's bollocks? Who am I to do that? So I left that.
I'm usually skeptical of that kind of thing because I've seen and worked with people who have set up cons like that, and you'd be very surprised in a group how many people are actually on the side of the people setting up the con. Like how many people are actually in on it. So you think, oh, yeah, it's just a nice family, and it turns out it's not just a nice family because they only need to sell XYZ number of tickets to all fall into profit. So
yeah.
You know.
But yeah,
as you say, if someone gets something positive out of it, then so be it.
Yeah. So we then, so that was like a sort of first. Then we were allowed to go off by so that we went back to the main base, and then we were allowed to go off by ourselves for an hour and do our own thing. And the rule was like, if the door is open, you can go in. If it's closed, it's off limits. But other than that, you can go wherever you want in the whole castle. If you want equipment, sign it out, put your name next to it, sign it out, and go round and go wherever you feel like. So we did. Me and my mother went off. She picked the dowsing rods up. I picked up an EMF. The old classic Phasmophobia thing.
Yeah.
I went off to We went upstairs. There's like a chapel room upstairs. Went in there. Got pretty much no response. Nothing at all. We then went back downstairs. Went to a room which had a well in it. and we're in the well, and we're sort of chatting, we're sort of asking for like anything, anyone there, and so forth. Suddenly, there's this massive clunk noise behind us. Like, what was that? So that's a bit weird. Then I was like, I said, but that sounds very mechanical. I said, what's in that cupboard? Over the cupboard, it was electronics, it was electrics cupboard. There's a big mechanical, there was a big time switch in there, and
Oh,
so it just
fantastic.
clicked. It was set to switch over at 1 a.m. and we were in there at 1 a.m. So it switched over. That again, for example, for a split second, that just makes you think. And to your brain has that little split thinking, what was that? And then your brain goes, no, hang on a second, what actually was that? We then actually found this little hidden away actually bit. It's like a little set of spiral staircases. This castle's got a little cupola on the top, and we went all the way up to the top basically. And we got all the way to the top, thinking, well, this is going to be a bit interesting. It's quite atmospheric and safe. We've got to the top, and we've got to the top. What was in it? Storage boxes, just random assortments of random tat. But obviously the castle, it's a dump place. They obviously had no idea where else to put. So let's put up in the cupola. Who the poor fucker had to walk up spiral staircase like that? Because they're big, there's like medieval spiral staircases are like they're like massive steps. You virtually fall down them. So who was the poor bugger who had to carry all these boxes up there and leave them up there?
The intern with a decent life insurance policy.
Yeah. There was also a little light in the sort of on the stairs that seemed to be coming on and off by itself. At first we thought it was a motion light, and it had been set off, and then we was like, hang on a second, let's just time this. So we started timing it, and it went on every 8 seconds. It's like, okay, it's not a motion light. It's just faulty, and it's just tripping every 8 seconds or so. Or as a ghost walking past every 8 seconds is really good at timing. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. So basically, our visual just me and my mother, we got nothing happened to us there. Go back to the main room. So again, we split up into groups again. So we went down with downstairs back to the celery type place. And we got the Ouija board out. I will say my mother sat out of all this. She's Christian. She doesn't believe in contacting the dead. She thinks you shouldn't contact the dead, so she didn't want to take part of any.
I just want to throw out there, I'm sorry, but being in the vicinity is still considered.
Yeah, I think that was a I think that's just. I think she was like, I want to do ghost hunting, but I don't really want to be involved contacting the dead. Well, don't think it quite works like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I said. Well, I'm not contacting the dead. They are. I just happen to be with them. No, it would be like if I was with someone and they pulled the trigger, I can still be done for that, even if I wasn't the one doing it myself.
Yeah,
your rules, you can't bend them as you wish, but okay.
Yeah. So, but she didn't want to take part of the seance. She didn't want to take personally part of the seance, so that's fine. I thought that's fine. I asked my Wentz, look, I would like to take part on them.
Mm-hmm.
I won't if you're really uncomfortable about it. I won't. Mm-hmm. But I would like to. I appreciate you don't want to. And she was like, well, I would rather you not, but I'm not going to stop you. So
being raised a Catholic, I can tell you now, Ram, you're already going to hell. So don't worry about it.
Excellent. No worries. So, God forgives. It's fine. So,
no. Read the Old Testament. No.
So we got on this Ouija board, and so we started asking like user questions. There's spirit here, and getting yes, and then you'd ask like, okay, what can you spell your name? And start to spell a name out. And then for some reason, I think our Ouija board was faulty because it kept going. Spirit kept spelling M-A, M-A, M-A out constantly, very regular, and we'd have to say like goodbye. And then we got to this one. We said, okay, what's your when it's like, okay, it's here, yep. When did you die? And he went to 1928. Okay. What were you what was your name? And all your initials. And the initials it gave was FN. Okay, what was your name? And can you spell it? So it started with N and it kept spelling out. Eventually spelled the name Nolan. And I was like, okay, what was your first name? And then it spelled F-A-R-T for fart. And I said, are you a bit of a joker? And it went, yes. And then someone asked, were you the jester here? And it went, F, no. So, so sorry?
Cute.
Coot, yeah. So I said to it, are you the... So you're not... no, it went F, no, and then it went yes. I said, do you mean like you're the funny one in the group? And it went yes. And it's like, where did you work? Kitchen. Where did you die? Kitchen. And then he's like, okay, can we speak to somebody else now? So I said goodbye. You have to say goodbye to the ghost, apparently. So we said goodbye to it. We then started again. And basically, long story short, Nolan wouldn't leave us alone. We kept seeing if we fall in contact with him every single time. He kept messing us around. We kept chatting, but we ended up chatting a fair amount. We then... This was, I think, interesting for my mother. Said, do you know anyone around this table, this board? And said, yes. It said, okay, can you spell the name? Now, the name it spelled out was mine. Now, the people I was with had asked me my name at the start, and I told them. So I was like, yeah, it doesn't really prove they know who I am. So then I asked to spell out their name, and it's spelt out, and I won't say their name, but basically it spelled my grandmother's name, who is dead. And it's like, okay. They said, over to you. And I said, okay. I asked it a question. I said, can you spell out the name of the person sat next to me? And it did get it wrong. The first time it spelled T-A-R-Z. I was like, okay, do you want to try again? The second time it did spell out the correct name for my mother next to me. So that was interesting. Mum found that the most interesting bit, actually, because she said the people we were with didn't know my grandma's and they didn't know her name either.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion of it is that, again, I think this could be my own bias involved in this, because you're moving it around the board, it's very light touch, and I can just see it. If it goes over a letter you're familiar with and you're expecting, you may subconsciously, without thinking about it, put the brakes on, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I think, I have a feeling my own biases were coming out, and I was stopping it moving at the right points. Because I said, I just found that a bit. It's either very weird. It was weird what happened, but I suspect it was my own bias stopping it at the right points. So we did our Ouija board, and we did a few more. Then we ended up going back upstairs, and they were doing like their tables out game. They're doing yes/no questions on the tables this time. So we were on the table, and we ended up the same family as the first time, and we're moving the glass around, and we started questions, and we're sort of like, oh, did you? And we found, were you like a ghost cultist? Yes. And so we asked, I said, did you die in the last 100 years? Yes. Did you die here? Yes. Okay. Did you die in the 1920s? Yes. Did you die in 1921? Yes. I think I'm getting a lot of yeses here all of a sudden. I said, did you die by accident? Yes. Did you die by falling? Yes, because that's the first thing I thought of. Someone said, did you die by falling off a ladder? Yes. I said, hang on, this seems a bit weird. Why are we getting all these... Are we really that good at... We're really good at guessing, and we get every question right, or we're being mucked around with? Because someone's saying, oh, are you over 50? Yes. Are you 60? Yes. We're getting yes at everything. And then someone said, are you mucking around with us? And it went, yes. And I said, are you Nolan? And it went, yes. So at this point, so I said, oh, well, yeah, we had him downstairs. So then we sort of said, okay, can we speak to somebody else now? So it went end. Then the people said, is anyone else around here? Yep. Do you know him? Yep. And it was their grandmother again, supposedly. But at one point, the guy asked, do you have 3 granddaughters? And it said yes. And they all looked very confused to each other. It's like, well, she's only got 2. And I said, are you our little Joker again? And he went, yes. So I'm actually, if Nolan existed, I'm actually getting quite to like him because he's just taking the piss out of everybody. If he does exist, if he did exist and he was a ghost now, I kind of like him. He's good. He likes like I'm just going to mess with these people up. They're coming to my castle. I'm going to fuck them up, basically. So I was like, okay, can you go? Can you leave us now and go elsewhere? Okay, this won't end. So at that point, it just stopped. The glass stopped moving. Nothing happened. Then about a minute later, the other table, the other side of the room, I just all heard someone shout. It goes, "Oh no, we've got that bloody Joker again."
There
So
you go.
yeah. So that was sort of that was our last thing we did. I have to say, so it was about a 6 hour long thing we did. We started at 9, finished at 3 a.m. I did actually really have great fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm not convinced by the whole thing. There were some weird things that happened, but nothing that I can't quite find an explanation for.
Yeah.
But just as an experience, I would like to go on another one. Have another go at do something else. Because I did find it, if anything, I found it quite fun.
Fair enough.
So, but we had a look around. There's one that's on an army base. So I'm quite fancy going to the army base. So, but yeah, that was our little ghost hunting expedition. That was Phasmophobia, but no one got possessed. No one got killed and murdered, which I was expecting. I thought that's why so many people there thought they're probably going to lose 10 of them tonight. So, but nothing like that happened. But yeah, it was an enjoyable evening. Oh, apparently there's one you could do in a nuclear bunker.
That's fantastic.
And if you want, you can spend the night there as well.
I mean, now I know where I can get myself a nuclear bunker.
It's got ghosts though, so just be wary of that.
Oh, I'm not bothered by that. I have kids, so I'm used to annoyances.
You're used to random noises in the night
Exactly.
and weird apparitions appearing in your room.
Little ghostly figures at the bottom of my bed.
Oh no, it's just the children again.
It's like, here we go again.
So yeah, but no, it was a very enjoyable night. I'll put a link to the company in the show notes if anyone wants to play around. But yeah, it was fun.
Fair enough.
So cool. So that was my Phasmophobia IRL. Have you got anything else, Skazz?
Nah, mate, I'm done.
Awesome, fantastic. Right, in that case, I'm going to say thank you both for watching us and joining us this evening. We can join us on our next podcast on Saturday, the 23rd of October, 2021 at 9:30 GMT +1, which will be the last one in summer day of the time. Then we go back to winter time. Yay!
Yay.
You can go to our website, roundnerds.co.uk. You can visit us and obviously here on YouTube, youtube.com/roundnerds, or twitch.tv/roundnerds. We also do a games night every other Tuesday. This is always Tuesday after podcast. So our next one is this Tuesday at 8:30 GMT +1. You can see me on twitch.tv/the Suffolkgram.
And me at twitch.tv/Skazz, SK4ZZI0US.
So look forward to seeing you there. And until for a fortnight's time, I look forward to seeing you in a fortnight's time on episode 177.
Which you'll all forget anyway, because I already
Indeed.
have.
I have to remind Skazz like 10 minutes before we start every day.
It's true. And after the podcast. And after I edit it.
Yeah.
And before we upload it. What episode was that again? When's the podcast again? You've only been doing this for 1,000,000 years. What?
So, for everybody, see you later.